arrests have been made, and at least one firearm was recovered after protesters started fires and began vandalizing police cars. #Oakland. So that coming straight from CHP Oakland, which has been updating the public for several hours now. A tweet from 32 minutes ago from CHP Oakland says, large group outside Oakland CHP office throwing rocks and setting off fireworks. So when you see that sort of thing, a firearm recovered, obviously the throwing of rocks, it's a dangerous situation, and you have people out there, officers obviously putting themselves in harm's way just to keep the peace. They're not even trying to visibly make any big strides towards protesters or break up the efforts. They're just trying to keep people off the interstates and go home in one piece to their families. So you have also a lot of reporters out there. This isn't a feel bad for us reporters, but there are people out there who are just trying to cover the news and bring it to us, and they too are in harm's way when you start having rocks thrown, when you have fires starting, when you have buildings being vandalized like that. So a tough situation for everyone as the nation is hurting after the Michael Brown ruling. Let's make no mistake about that. There's certainly a lot of pain throughout this country right now. A feeling of mistrust of police departments throughout a lot of communities, not all, but a lot.
T-Mobile.
When this sort of thing happens, when a ruling is handed down like that, you know that you're going to have demonstrations, you know you're going to have upsetment, and certainly folks have a right, and in some cases maybe an obligation, to have their voices heard. But there are certain ways to do it, and some people will argue that if you do set fires, if you do vandalize businesses, then people will take notice of your cause even more. As we,
I need to get that iPhone 6.
T-Mobile store, H&R Block offices. Again, more vandalism going on now as people are rushing in.
They want to stay away from the H&R Block because they can't run in there and do their taxes.
And then rush back out. So the vandalism is spreading block by block. We don't know if it's really the same people involved, because we have also seen some other people just milling about in the street, walking from block to block. But we are starting to see more signs of vandalism. We showed you earlier some vandals kicking in the windows of the import motors at 40th and Telegraph. Later, some vandals moved over to the Kellymore paint store at 4156 Telegraph. They pulled paint out of the store and threw it onto the streets. And now we're looking at, I'm not sure of the exact address here, but we're looking at a T-Mobile store and an H&R Block offices which are also being affected by vandals.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a location on this H&R Block.
Yeah, police motorcycle did move through the area, but moved right through. That was just a single motorcycle officer. There are certainly officers in the area surrounding and kind of blocking off this area from, as Grant mentioned, from 34th to 45th Streets along Telegraph, trying to close off the area and keep all of the protesters in a specified area, which would make it easier to control, but that's still a wide area to cover, and along the way there are a number of businesses where, as we see now, people are going in and cracking windows and wreaking havoc in the area of all the small businesses that exist throughout this area of Telegraph Avenue. There's going to be a lot of work that's going to be needed to be done to clean up from the activities going on tonight. And Grant, as you mentioned, during a lot of the Occupy protests, during the time when they were happening with a lot of regularity, there was a lot of damage when people said, I cannot stay here. I'm going to have to move my business elsewhere in order to stay vibrant and
there can't be that many phones in there.
So,
she is so excited. She got her iPhone 6.
And we're sorry to hear it because, as Grant mentioned, the nation certainly is hurting in light of what has happened in Ferguson. And just to reiterate, all of this started with yesterday's grand jury decision out of Ferguson, Missouri, not to indict Officer Darren Wilson in the shooting death of 18-year-old Michael Brown